Anyway, texting, 58760-9er. Nothing is finer than a Final Four with no one in it.
That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a perfect Man Up Monday evening. The redoubtable himself. Good to see you, brother. Tom Izzo. Highly questionable one himself. RJ Miliaccio. Segment 1, the madness of March continues to exceed expectations. I got news for you. I want to meet the son of a bitch who picked this. Okay? Because honestly,
his name's Dr. Strange.
Because, listen, boys and girls, look, I was vindicated on this because I said before the term began, pick any 5 in the top 20 and they could be in the Final Four. And for the first time in history, talk about how good this tournament. Now,
this is beyond the top 5.
This is, well, yeah,
this is beyond the top 20.
There was 2 5s and a 4 that are left. Technically, I was right there. There's 1-9, the 9 seeds.
9.
Yeah, they weren't the one that was the wild card. That's the one. But I said it was the deepest tournament I'd ever seen, and it has proven to be such. And not only that, this is the first time in history, in the Final Four, in history of this sport, where there is no 1, there is no 2, and there is no 3. Think about that for a minute, boys and girls. 1-4, only 1 4 made it. 2 5s and a 9. If you pick that, the payout should allow you to retire. Okay? Because honestly, no one.
So, unless okay, so you also have to acknowledge this. Maybe the seeding sucked.
Well, UConn, I would say this. UConn was higher than a 4.
What about Miami?
No, Duke, they were a 5. Because Duke, if Miami had won that game against Duke, then they would have been probably a 3. They dropped 2 spots because they walloped Duke during the regular season. And now again, when they caught Duke, Duke was playing. They had peaked. They won 10. They were a 10-game win streak before they pooped.
Did Duke beat them in the tournament?
They beat them in the ACC tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat them. And Miami. They both came in, and Duke just. I'm telling you, Duke beat them. So
Duke won the tournament.
Duke won the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
They were the last team to beat them. Yeah. And I got news for you. This is no fluke. Miami's the one thing. There were 2 things I got right: the depth of this tournament, and people slept on Miami. Well, here they are. And it was I said they had length, they had depth, and they had a point guard. That kid was making shots.
Oh, you talking about the guy Wong?
Yeah, he was making shots. Wong. It's Wong. Wong or Wong. Either way, the motherfucker can play. He was ECC Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, he was a beast.
He's a beast, and they were in the second half when they made that run. Yes. Did Texas do a little bit of?
Texas lost this game. I don't care what you say. To me, Texas lost this game.
Why?
Allow me.
I just put it on the tee. How far do you want to hit it?
I said, allow me. Allow me to pull up my notepad, folks.
Please do. Please.
Okay, so honestly,
by the way, I prefaced by saying that he had Texas winning the whole thing.
I was just about to say that. I'm a little biased because in our bracket, I was the only one with a champion still left.
You know who's going to win this?
Your wife.
Yeah.
And you picked her bracket.
No, I did not.
You know, it's okay.
No, I didn't pick the Final Four at all.
He literally said he picked her bracket.
No,
and I said, you can't pick her bracket. And he goes, you didn't let me finish. I didn't pick it.
You never let me finish. You still let me finish in 2 weeks. What I said was, her friend had texted her, hey, who does RG think that? I said, look, I can't. I don't know the Final Fours. Here are the top 5 teams in the tournament. That's all I said. And she.
So why'd you come out here and say you picked your wife's
bracket? I was joking when I said it. Why can't you take a goddamn joke?
Suspect. Okay. I don't give a shit.
Nobody's in the Final Four.
Either way.
UConn.
Yeah. She doesn't have a champion either, but she does have UConn
in the final.
Losing to Duke.
Anyway.
So I'm a little biased, and I want to blame Texas because I'm pissed at them. I feel like I was right picking them, and they pooped. So allow me, okay? This is why I'm mad.
Go ahead.
It's not really because they lost. It's because I think I wanted to be right.
Tom, what are you angry about?
Being wrong.
Tom the Terrible. Tom's terrible. Like, you know how they have Mad Dog's Madness? So, what do we should do? Tom's what? Tom's Tornado?
Tom's Tantrum.
Tom's Tantrum. There we go. This Tom, what are you tantrumatic about?
This is a Tommy Tantrum.
Tommy Tantrum. Go ahead.
Little Tommy Tantrum.
Let her rip.
So, first half was a pretty tight game between Texas and Miami. Yeah. Okay. But at some point in the second half, Texas took control of the game. They were up double digits for, a nice little chunk of time. With 13:30 left, they were leading 64-51. Mm-hmm. Okay? Let me tell you their next 21 possessions.
The next
21 possessions.
Let me tell you what happened 21 times in a row.
And this is about 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Uh-huh. Missed 3, turnover. Made free throw, missed layup. Turnover, missed 3. Offensive rebound, missed 3. Turnover. 2 made free throws. A made free throw and a missed one. Missed jumper, dunk, turnover. 2 made free throws, missed jumper, turnover, missed 3, missed jumper, and then finally they make a damn bucket. And by that time, they go from up 13 to up 2. They wind up losing by 7. They got outscored at the end of the game, 37 to, I don't know, 17?
Well, in the second half, Miami outscored them by 15.
Right, but in that chunk at the end, it was like,
okay.
I mean, so that's just an awful stretch of basketball when I felt like they had legitimately taken hold of the game. They started getting careless because they were up 13. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turnovers in that span. That's terrible. And missed threes out the ass. You didn't. The only problem is they were taking good threes early in the second half.
They didn't take a lot of bad ones. There was a couple bad ones in there in that run, but most part they had pretty good shot selection.
But I just felt like
they got the lead because of the shot selection.
They did. But then I don't think during this time the shot selection was the same as when they got the lead.
Okay.
So I really feel like they lost the game, and it was obviously in that 8-minute, 25-second stretch. Miami's good too, but I think Texas had that game. They were in a position to just put it away, and they got careless, and then boom, Miami was good enough to say, no, you're not going to sleepwalk through the last quarter of this game.
Well, if you did that against a team of that caliber, you deserve to get beat.
Right.
Because there was no fluke that Miami was there.
No, Miami was
Number
good.
one, they were the ACC regular season champs.
And Texas was that good, and they were missing a big piece. Mm-hmm. One of their guys missed the last 2 games, I believe.
Yeah, I forget who he was, but yeah, that hurt him too. Okay, I agree with some of that. I do. I don't disagree. Here's what I would add to this, because here's where they really lost the game. Okay, when they got ahead, it wasn't so much about they lost this on offense. If you look at what happened on defense, that's where they lost the game, because literally they committed 23 fouls and they were in the 1-and-1 with 11 minutes to go in the game. They were already in the bonus. Yeah. Now, here's where Miami, because their coach is good. He's the guy who went to a Final Four with George Mason. This dude can coach. Went in there and said, and this is what he told them, because Texas has a great backcourt. You're not going to press this team and get back in the game. Here's what freaking happened. He said to them, look, they're in the bonus right now. Stop jacking threes and go to the basket and stop the clock. Because the quickest way to get back against a team that you can't press is to get points with the clock stopped. Let me explain. Let this sink in, okay? For the game, okay, Miami shot 59% from the floor. You know why? Because they were getting layups. They went to the basket, and Texas got into foul trouble. That's number one. Number two, for the game, a college team, Tom, a college basketball team, 28 for 32 from the line, 87%.
Miami was?
Pro teams don't do that. Okay? Yeah. A college team, talk about fundamentals, young players. Okay? They went to first of all, they went to the basket. Stop jacking. The part of the reason they got behind is they tried to get in a shooting contest with Texas, and Texas whipped their ass. So they were like, we got to go to the basket. And the coach was like, yeah, why don't you start doing that since one more foul than the bonus? And then we're in the bonus the rest of the game. And that's how you chip away. Because Miami didn't do this all at once. It was gradual. It was a gradual. They didn't just all of a sudden go on a 9-0 run. No, they pecked away and pecked away and pecked away. It was like over a 7-minute span before they got back to tie the game up. That's because a lot of that was because they went to the basket, got fouls, and got to the line. And they made their damn free throws, which you hear me scream about every week. Some team poops themselves at the foul line. This team won this game at the foul line because that's how they came back. They got free throws when the clock stopped, and they made them. That is where they won. Now, again, that falls on Texas, too, because Texas didn't stop them on defense. Okay? They went to the basket, and Texas knew it and didn't stop it. So that's where you want to pin something on Texas. They got whooped on defense. When a team shoots 59% from the floor
they got whooped on both
and 87% from the line, you're losing. Okay?
Dude,
you're losing.
And they went 7 minutes without scoring a fucking field goal.
Well, they took 20.
So it's like they got their ass whooped on both sides.
But here's the thing, though. They outshot Miami from the three, and it was bad. They were, Texas, 10 for 25, 40%. For a college team, that's very good. 40% for the game.
I'm saying. They should have won the game.
And
they
Miami
in the last 13
was only
minutes.
2. But here's the thing. Miami, this is why I get mad at subs. Miami took 8 3-point attempts in the whole game. 32.
They didn't take any in the second
They
half.
went to the basket. That's what I'm saying. That's why it was great. That's what he hears me, and you've heard me bitch at the Celtics for this all the time. Miami knew they were great up front. They knew they could penetrate, and they knew Texas was in foul trouble. And they didn't reinvent the wheel here. They said, "Look, if we just keep going to the basket and they foul us, we can chip away."
I just don't know why Texas didn't just pack it in. They couldn't shoot. You know what I'm saying? I remember the one time they went to the 2-3, and the fucking Miami guard tried to throw an oop over the back of it. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then that was the only time I saw the 2-3.
And what I would tell you,
and they didn't get that turnover.
I'll tell you why, and this actually feeds your argument. I'll tell you why they didn't pack it in, because Miami came back in transition. They attacked before they get set. They couldn't get back because they were shooting ill-advised threes, and the rebounds come long, and now it's a fast break situation. So they couldn't.
It's like both things were feeding.
Yeah, they were feeding the other.
Yeah,
it was a two-part problem. Yeah. So they couldn't get back and set their defense.
Right.
So they just had to match up because they didn't have time. And look, this is where you got to give Bayern credit. They took advantage of this.
But sometimes they
found a way.
Sometimes it was that one kid making a tough-ass shot.
Well, that kid can play.
That kid Wong?
Yeah, that kid was the ACC player. That was no fluke what he did. He did it all year. So I'm saying
he has a real nice touch.
That kid's a first-round draft pick. Yeah. He made 4 or 5 NBA moves last
What
night.
year is he?
I think he's a senior. I think he is. But anyway,
he's good.
But he was an All-American last year as a junior.
There's a lot of good players in that game.
Dude, there's a lot of good players in this tournament. Yeah. He was talking about, to Tom's point, Tom was like, there's a big man trend coming here.
Every team.
He was the first. And I was like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but I thought about it, and he was right. If you think about every team that's left in this tournament, they've all got multiple big men that can play.
Bigs.
That can play. Like, they're not dorks. They can legitimately play. Okay? And we were watching because I was thinking UConn. Because they got literally, but then I thought about it. We thought about and everybody talked about FAU, who's supposed to be small. They got a 7'1" sophomore who can play. Yeah. The kid can play. Creighton, two of them. I mean, this is the thing. Yeah. So the revive, and I said to him, I don't know if he remembers this, but it was probably last year. I said everything works in cycles. Right now it's a guard league, but the big man's going to come back. I was
it's
pointing.
Like bell bottom.
Yeah, I was pointing to Jokic and Embiid and Antetokounmpo because they're all like 7-footers. Who are dominating. The big man's coming back. And then I just didn't know, but then he was the one going, look at every fucking team.
Yeah.
And this really started in the Sweet 16.
We started looking elsewhere because then you had Duke.
Yeah.
Purdue.
Yeah, that kid's a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, Purdue Edney. Yep.
I mean, we started listing all these teams, and it's like, damn, there's a lot of talented bigs out there.
Bigs that can play. Yeah. And they can play with their back. Timmy from Gonzaga, who's a senior. He's 6'10".
You think FAU could play with UConn?
I don't know if anybody can play with UConn right now.
I thought Texas could.
I said the only
I thought
team,
Texas could. I don't know Miami
I thought the only team that was playing on their level when the tournament started was Duke. I thought they were the 2 best teams coming into the tournament.
And Duke got slapped.
Okay. Because their point guard got in foul trouble, and they had 2-to-1 turnover to interception, assist, 15 turnovers, 8 assists. You're not beating anybody doing that, no way. And part of it was their point guard was bad on defense and got burned. He got in foul trouble. He spent half the game on the bench. Well, that's your best distributor right there. College doesn't have. It ain't like the pros where you got like 3 guys in a row. No, they got like maybe 2 at the college level, 1 or 2 maybe. Okay, Duke lost that guy and they were screwed. Okay, but this ain't about UConn. UConn's deep. Yeah. They are 10 deep. They're legitimately 10 deep. The UCLA I thought was great because they were deep too. But UConn's the deepest team in this tournament, and they were before it started.
I haven't watched them yet.
I've seen them many times this year, and I'll tell you, the Big East represented. If you think about who was playing this weekend, Creighton or Xavier on third. There were 3 Big East teams left in the Sweet 16. I'm telling you, the Big East is a great basketball conference again, and now Rick Pitino just went to St. John's.
Pro-choice Pitino.
So talk about, the one thing he can do is recruit. He's going to get talent back in St. John. They're going to come to play. And he's a 2-time national champion.
Did you hear his interview where he's like, I'm not for everybody.
But he's still, he's like, look, you just either you love me or you don't. If you don't, you're an idiot. That's the way he fucking talks. He's almost apologizing for you. You can't help it. You're not intelligent enough to understand this. Well, the greatness of
that's not likable.
No, it's not. And you hear him talking, that's what you fucking hear. You're like, oh my God.
Like, I'm a little much for some people.
Some people. But those
Did you hear where he was like?
But those people are weak-minded.
Did you hear the guy say he was like, most of the guys on the team right now probably won't be here next year.
What a dick! If that didn't tell you what a dick he is,
damn.
Like really, you haven't even maybe.
So you took the job, and it wasn't about the team at all.
First of all, here's what a good coach does. Because a good coach looks at the team he's taking over, or she, or whoever, and a good coach looks at that roster and goes, okay, these guys are struggling, but what could they do in my system? Maybe they fit better playing for me. They at least take a look at that. You don't make a statement like that before preseason. You got to be the smart coach goes, look, it's a new system. We're going to see who works with who, and we'll see how they haven't played in this system, so I got to let them. I got to look at them. Of course, I'm going to recruit people. That's my job too. But I'm going to whoever's here, I'm going to give you a shot. I'm not just going to go. Yeah, they're probably all gone.
And I mean,
what a dick thing to say.
Do you really think he had spent any time studying this team?
He doesn't know a thing about that team.
That makes it 100 times worse.
Yeah, he doesn't know a thing about that team. Okay, so
he just like.
Look,
these guys.
That's who he is. That's who he's always been. Yeah. Look, when you saw him with the Celtics, you wanted to kill him because Red Auerbach. Who had that resume, never acted like this.
He fired Red Auerbach?
He demoted him to another position, which is like firing him. Like, you're going to fire the guy with 16
hold on
rings?
a second. So what position did Red Auerbach hold when...
He was the general manager.
When Rick Pitino...
He was the GM. He ran everything.
Who did?
Red.
So...
When Pitino came in...
as what?
He came in, he wanted to be the coach and the GM. And they were like, you want me?
And they said yes?
Because at the time he was the hottest coaching commodity out there in the Celtics.
But you're talking about Red Auerbach.
I know.
Was Red old?
I think Red was older one. I think Red signed off on it. Because Red had to agree to that for this to happen.
So Red must have wanted to get out.
Maybe. But still, the way he did it.
Yeah.
You don't say.
He didn't do it nice.
You don't say, no, he said he demoted him. That's what he fucking said. And I'm like, the thing was, he said that after he signed the contract, and it was his job, because then he was in total control.
He said, so I demoted Red
Auerbach. And the way he said it, and the funny part is, when they first interviewed him, he was sitting at the center of the Celtics court on the logo like he invented it, and he was in a director's chair. What an arrogant piece of... I looked, I'm like, this was before the draft. I'm like, this guy's a dick. And my father said it too. He's like, this guy's a dick. And it was like, he better get Tim Duncan. He better get Tim Duncan. My father called. He goes, this guy don't get Tim Duncan, he's fucked. And he's like, I said, why? I said, is he a great coach? He's like, no, he's a great recruiter. He was never a great coach. And you watch this. Because he did well with New York after he left Providence. And then he went back to Kentucky and he won a national title because he can recruit. Yeah, he can. He got Providence.
So you're saying he recruited well in New York, or are you talking about with the Knicks?
He was a great recruiter. The Knicks, that team was already there.
So did he do well with the Knicks?
He was better. They were like 50 and 32 one year. So he was good. He was good. It wasn't great.
What year was that? 80s?
It was the 80s. Yeah, it was like in the late 80s. And but anyway,
that was a little before I started watching.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Ewing was young.
Yeah, I think I started in 92.
He was ascending.
Okay.
Yeah, so he started to become Patrick Ewing, which he already was, but the NBA game, he started dominating. So he got there in the right time, but then he left because he got the Kentucky job, which at the time was the gold,
Yeah.
So, and he won a national title there. He did but then the Celtics.
Won?
He won because he left to go to the Celtics. He won like in the first 4 years of being there. Like Kentucky was actually slumping at the time.
In 4 years, the team with Ron Mercer.
That he recruited all those guys.
Okay.
Tony Delk, Walter McCarty, Antoine Walker. That team was loaded.
They won, right?
They beat my buddy Jimmy Hayes' team, my friend, in the final, Syracuse. That was the team he lost to. Patino's bunch in '96, and
that team was loaded.
Yeah, but he can recruit. Everyone knew he could recruit because Patino's from New York. So he went and got all the New York players. And when he built it, he had Roderick Rhodes.
I know. One of my dad's friends grew up with Rick Pitino on Long Island.
Mm-hmm. So, and he played Division I basketball. He was a guard. So he had the clout. And he moved up. And he was a New Yorker, so he could get the New York kids. He knew what to do. He had the clout. He had the, So anyway, he could recruit, but he couldn't build the team as a GM because it's different in college, in pros. Because you can't go into their home and you just got to draft. It's where you draft. So they had the draft lottery. Of all people they sent ML Carr. It was like, if you're the Red Sox, let's send Bill Buckner this thing. We need some good luck. You don't do it. And ML Carr won the ML Carr won a championship with the Celtics, and you still don't do it. He was the worst coach in Celtics history, ML Carr.
ML Carr was the guy who was
they sent to the draft lottery. Yeah, they sent the one. Yeah, he was a representative. So they fired him as the coach. We want to retain you in another role. Yeah, go be the guinea pig.
Go be our puppet.
Yeah, go roll us Timmy D. And then he came in third. And everybody's going, why did you send MLK to this thing? Everybody knew they were jinxed. I'm like, why are they send Larry Bird? Send somebody like that. Don't send ML fucking Carr.
So you said your dad
said before the draft, he goes, he better get fucking Tim
What year
Duncan.
was that?
It was 97. That was when Duncan came out. 97.
Oh, so he was with the Celtics then.
That was his first year. And that was the draft of Tim Duncan.
Damn, so he was with the Knicks in the
Then he
late
went to Kentucky.
80s?
Yep, they went to Kentucky,
Okay.
won a national title in 5 years. And Kentucky was a losing team when he got there. They weren't. They were.
didn't know that.
He built that back up in 5 years and won a title. And remember now, in '92, 92 was his third year there. He lost to Grant Hill's pass to Christian Laettner in the greatest college game ever played. That was Pitino's second year at Kentucky, and they were going. There was the Elite Eight. He was getting them back. They were ascending, and they won the title 3 years later. That's how fast he did it. So of course the Celtics are like, this guy's just a fucking winner everywhere he goes. And then Pitino's like, if I'm coming there, I want to run the whole show, or I'm not coming. And I think Red Auerbach, who at the time was getting older, was like, well, if that's gonna get him, all right. And I'm getting older anyway, so it's like, it wasn't like Red still wasn't there, but
we're giving Pitino too much play.
We are. Anyway, the bottom line is the Big East is going to be even stronger next year because that motherfucker can recruit.
I wish VCU would go to the Big East.
Well, the ACC is usually not. And there's an ACC team in the Final Four.
VCU should go to the Big East.
Why? Oh, Virginia Commonwealth, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Virginia Tech.
Because I think it would help them recruit.
Of course it would. I was asking this question to, who the fuck was it? And they were like, no, they won't do that. Why? Oh, they don't have the facilities to compete. St. John's didn't have the facilities to compete, and they went to a Final Four. And they play in a freaking church.
Yeah, see, but here's my thing is, if they get to the Big East and they keep winning, they will make the money to
That's what I'm
upgrade
saying.
all their shit.
If you're in the Big East, you have a different television contract.
Yeah.
The Big East tournament's in Madison Square Garden. You know what that fucking does for your
Yeah.
clout? In recruiting, now you're in the Big East, you get to play. Yeah, we play the conference tournament in Madison. Kid fucking hears that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, sign me up.
I mean, I think when we went, nobody ever saw us going from the CAA to the A10.
No, that eventually happened.
But after multiple years of being a competitive team,
go to the fucking.
You
Big
can do
East.
it.
Yeah, I kept saying they could do this now, and they've been in the tournament. The Big East would take them.
I mean, the Final Four run is really what.
No, but the Big East they've been in
us.
the tournament a lot, like 4 of the last 6 years. VCU. So they get there. So if you're the Big East, yeah, we'll fucking bring you
come
in.
on in.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how it works, but I know it's not that simple.
Plus, it would help the Big East in recruiting in Virginia as a whole. So there's a lot of talent, high school talent in Virginia. Look at fucking Virginia. A lot of those kids are from here. So
And it would be cool to have a Big East school in Virginia.
It would really be cool. You'd have ACC.
Because you got ACC and Big East.
You'd have You'd
That's
think
cool.
about this. Fuck, it'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You'd have ACC, Big, and Big. It'd be fucking awesome. And you could have, and that tournament that I was telling you to have, like we have the Bean Pot up in Boston for hockey, the 4 major hockey schools. You could have a fucking little basket. Oh my, you know how much money that would generate?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! If you had Virginia Commonwealth, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Okay, and who was the 4th team? Richmond, the Richmond Spiders.
Well, Richmond.
But
Richmond couldn't go to the Big East.
No, but they stay in the A10. You still have an A10 rep.
Yeah.
But then you got you got 3 conferences
Richmond get
represented. Well, but again, it would also, first of all, NCAA tournament-wise, it would help because you're playing strength. The schedule goes up. Now you got a guaranteed to play ACC team, Big East team. But I mean, two ACC teams, actually. That would help them. Strength of schedule. So I don't think Richmond would say no to that at all. Because that helps them with creating. Hey, we're going to play 2 ACC schools this year, and we're going to play a Big East school this year. Like, and by the way, that's our tournament every year. That helps us with in terms of getting into the tournament, strength of schedule. Kid hears that, who's like, yeah, fucking A, I'll do that. You're in the Atlantic 10, good call. Yeah, fucking A, I'll do that.
Richmond's such a good school, though.
And that's the
academically.
Well,
that's.
Here's the elephant.
I mean, goddamn.
Here's the elephant.
They can't recruit with the other schools.
Well, because they don't lower their standard. And BC has the same.
Their school is not built on athletics.
Boston College is the same way up north.
Yeah,
and yet their hockey team is one of the best in the country every year. They've won national titles. Nobody even knows. But the basketball team has stunk since.
Did you say
Dudley.
hockey?
Sorry. But the basketball team has stunk since Jared Dudley. You know how long ago Jared Dudley was?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the last time BC mattered. Okay? So
and
anyway,
that was a quick little blip.
Yeah.
That was like a little bloop. I was like, what? Boston College?
Yeah. So anyway. The Final Four is set of 4, 2 5s, and a 9. So we're going to predict this on Wednesday. But first, look, I mean, I love this. This is awesome because this is the tournament I hoped I'd see and didn't.
I got my 2 winners easy.
Yeah, I mean, well, you probably do. But anyway, we're going to wait for Wednesday with suspense.
Oh, let it linger.
Let it linger.
Let it marinate.
Let it fester.
I might change my. I might change.
I don't
my
think
picks
you
by
will.
then.
Because I don't think I'll be changing mine. But anyway, the bottom line is, first look at every team's a great story. Danny Hurley coaching, getting UConn back to prominence. Miami, easily, yeah. Larinaga.
Shit, Larinaga.
Proving that not a fluke, sweetheart, not a fluke. Took George Mason and then took Miami's never been to a Final Four. Their first Final Four ever. And they are loaded, okay?
Dude, you know, Jim Larinaga's Final Four run paved the way for Shaka Smart's Final Four run.
It did.
Both those teams came out of the CAA. Mm-hmm. That was before they were in the A-10.
Yeah.
He's a damn good coach.
He's a damn good coach, and he's proven it. And that's right now. If UConn is a great, that's going to be a hell of a game.
Jim Larinaga's got to be.
I tell you, that UConn Miami game should be a final. That's going to be a hell of a game. I'm telling you right now. So he's got to be up there, late 60s probably. Maybe he's got some serious.
Like he might be older than that.
Got some serious white hair. I'm saying late 60s. Belichick's 71.
Dude, God bless him.
Yeah.
Jim, it said I typed it in wrong, and it's 73.
I was wrong too. I said late 60s. He's older than Bill. He looked
That's
older
why I
than
thought
Bill.
he was older than that.
Yeah. So
damn, Boeheim was 78.
Yeah. Stayed there 46 years.
I don't think I want to do anything that long.
46 years he was at that school.
I don't want to do anything that long.
46, his whole adult life. He played college ball there, became a graduate assistant, and took over the reins and never left. Never left. That's crazy. You don't see that.
Okay. Speaking of age, I'm getting on age now.
Okay.
McDermott for Creighton.
Yeah.
He's got to be kind of old. He looked pretty young.
Did he dye his hair?
I don't know.
He had some grays,
good.
like a silver fox. He had some grays on the side. What is it?
What the hell was his name? Was it Mike or Doug?
Doug, I thought was his son.
Doug was his son. You're right.
If you
Mike McDermott. It's not Mike McDermott.
What? It's too easy. That's why.
Greg McDermott. Okay, he's only 58. So he is kind of young.
Not super young, but he's not super old.
Yeah.
He's 60.
Yeah, you're right. He's not super young.
Not super young.
But it looks good.
He's not Shaka, let's put it that way.
But he's got a son
young.
who's been, well, yeah.
Shaka's young.
Shaka's young.
That's what I'm saying.
Shaka's really young.
Yeah,
but Shaka's not as young as he seems anymore.
Well, he keeps doing the hair, no hair thing and fucking with people.
Let's see Shaka.
In fact, somebody said that was going to affect him.
I think Shaka's older than you think
Someone
he is.
said that hairdo was going to fuck up him in the tournament, and they were right. Because they were the 2 seed.
He's done it with multiple haircuts.
Not this time. He said that's bad mojo. Whoever the dude was called it. Forget who it was.
Shaka is young.
Yeah, he's young.
What the hell? How old do you think he is?
He's either late 30s or early 40s. He's close somewhere in that 5-year, 7-year window.
God, what's his age?
Oh my God.
77.
Bullshit. He was born in 77.
That's what I'm saying. 77.
So he's
So how old is
40.
he?
I'm 49. He's 45. Yeah. So
That's older than I thought he was.
Yeah. So I said he's either late 30s or early to mid. Yeah, right there.
You didn't say early to mid. You said early.
All right. So 43. So I was off by 2 years.
That's right.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're like, well, I mean,
I guessed.
I said late 30s, early to mid 40s. You throw the mid in there on the replay. You know it wasn't there.
Early to mid. Mid's not a definite.
You didn't say mid.
No, I said late 30s to early 40s.
Right. But then when I said 45, you said, well, that's what I said. Mid. Late 30s, early 40 to mid 40s.
First of all, when you're guessing that, if you're within 2 years, you're right. Because you don't fucking know. For all I know, he could have been 34.
No. I mean, I think you had a good guess on it.
That was a good guess.
I think you did. If you're saying it goes to 45, then
that's what
basically you threw up a 10-year span.
To me,
and said, he's either 35 or 45.
To me, mid would be 43. Once you get past, I mean,
no.
43 is young.
45.
44 to me. 44 to 46
to 47
is mid. 47 to 49 is late because then it's 50.
Oh no.
47 to 49 is not late.
48's late.
47 to
47's mid.
No, 44 to 46 is mid, and 47 to 49 is late.
Okay.
Because only 3 years. I'm breaking it down. That's what I'm saying.
44 to 46.
This is mid. That's right there. Once you hit 47, now it's late. You're in late 40s.
Man, that sucks.
You're approaching.
So it's nice because 43 is early 40s. That's nice. That's a nice part.
Nice spot. The
But
sweet
not
spot.
nice when 47 is late.
Yeah.
That's
better than 57. I can tell you that right now. So, but anyway, Shaka's. Look, that was a. Look, the guy guessed right. I don't know, but the hair was. He said that's gonna. Like, what the fucking hair?
Okay, so we didn't talk about all the games though.
No, we didn't. But anything. Well, first of all, San Diego State. And was it a foul?
So okay, so when you and I were watching the game,
Yep.
we both said it's an obvious foul. Okay,
We did.
we said that, and it is a foul. But I did hear a lot today that opened my mind to the other side of it. Because
Before you say anything, because I didn't see, I was at work, so I didn't see whatever you're talking about. But the only thing I can say to this as a player, and I don't know what they're going to say, but this thing is this. What? What? Why give me the finger?
Why couldn't I say it?
Then say it. Go ahead. Say it. Go ahead. If you say it.
What?
I was just going to say, well, this is what I was going to guess. What I think, me personally, this is what I think happened. Okay? What I think happened was, no, I lost my train of thought. You just fucked me all up. I lost my train of thought.
This is what you think happened. We saw what happened.
No.
You asked me if it was a foul, and while I'm giving my opinion.
No, what I was saying was, what I was trying to say
yours, let me say mine.
Let me say mine.
Okay.
Well, because I can't. I should be in this about a guess. I played basketball. I should be able to give a guess.
You asked me.
I know. Fine. You go first.
You asked me for my opinion.
Go first.
And then as I started to say it, you said, let me see mine first.
Go for it. Because I didn't see. I want to see if I'm right. Or if they agree with me. Or if they agree with me. Because if you say that and I say, and you're like, yeah, you're just saying that because they agree. But if I go first and I don't know, that's what I'm saying.
No, I was saying I heard a lot today that made me change my opinion.
And this is what I want to say. I'm not saying it wasn't a foul, but here's why I don't think it should have been called.
Right.
Okay?
That's what they all said.
Why? What did they say?
I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't. What are you
Yes,
going to say?
I do.
What did they say?
It depends on how the game is called.
Okay,
That's
go
what you're gonna
elaborate.
say.
Well, what I was going to say to that point was if you don't make that call for the first 30-something minutes of the game, you can't call it in the last minute. That's what I'm was saying. So that's similar to what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you call it that way, they'd be like, okay, fine, it's consistent. But if you let them play for 35 minutes or whatever the hell it is.
Because Jason Williams said there was 22 fouls called in the entire game.
Is that right? It wasn't a lot.
There was 11 called in the second half.
Combined or for... Yeah, combined.
Yeah, like total
So
fouls.
11 in each half is what they called?
Basically.
That's weird.
And they were
That
like,
was
they were like, the game was too
weird.
physical for this to be called. Mad Dog said it, then Jason Williams said it.
So he said it was too physical because you let it
said,
go.
Yeah, like, this is a physical ass game.
That's what
And,
you can't,
yeah.
you either set the tone.
That's what they all said.
You either set the tone right away, and good officials will do this. Before the game, they're going to tell you what they're going to call. All right, if you do this, I'm going to let that go. But if you do this, I'm calling it. So the defense, good officials will tell them before the
But
game.
see, we watched the whole game, and you and I still said foul.
We did. But
So I didn't feel like it was...
But we both were like, is that a foul? And then we had to see but it was like a ticky. It wasn't a. It was a. Ticky. I mean, his momentum was going that way.
It was hand on hip.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah, but he didn't like. He just was on his.
He knocked him down.
Well, he had his hand on him like this, but he didn't do that. Now the kid sold it.
You think the kid sold that?
Yeah, he sold it because he didn't push him.
Yeah.
He just had his hand on him.
Okay, so I'll say
he literally
this.
got pushed out of a moving car.
This. If that was my team, if I was a San Diego State fan, that's a foul every day of the goddamn week. If I was, who the hell was it? Creighton? No, I think that's a horrible call. And
because you let them do that all game.
Right.
Meaning you let them be physical. And what we just said was that was a ticky-tack. If you're calling it tight the whole game, okay, well, they've been calling it the whole game. The defense, they should have adjusted by
I would have rather seen overtime. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, they ruined it. They ruined it. Because they took the game out of the hands of the players, and that was a ticky-tack call. Now, look, to the letter of the law, technically it is a foul. But if you're letting them do that for 35 minutes, which was the point, from what you're saying, of every freaking guy on TV today, you can't call a game one way and then decide to change it in the last minute or two, whenever they started doing this. Yeah. But that was the one call that was not a physical.
But see, I'll say this.
You know what I mean? Like
I'll say this. You and I watched that game together. Mm-hmm. Well, only like the second half together, right? I missed the first half.
No, you got there before the first half ended.
Did I?
Yeah, you got there with probably about 6 or 7 minutes to go in the first half.
So we watched that, but as we watched it live, our instinct wasn't to say, they haven't called that all game,
No.
right? So it wasn't like watching it live. It wasn't that egregious.
Well, but we didn't know if it was a foul. We had to look at the replay and go, well, his hand is there.
That's true. That's true.
Because we didn't like, is that a foul? Like, because it didn't look
if
like
you're the back ref, okay, and all you see is
the hand on there.
He almost had a grip on him, you know?
To the letter of the law, it was a
Yeah.
foul. Look, technically it wasn't the wrong call. What I thought was, and again, and they apparently said maybe exactly this, was that that's a foul, but if you don't call it the whole game, you can't suddenly start calling it now.
Yeah.
Because the defense you've told both teams, this is how we're going to allow you to play. So now you want this kid in the blink of an eye to adjust to something that was called. It makes no sense. That's
However,
impossible.
what I'm saying is, you and I watched that game together.
We didn't think,
and neither one of us was like, "You haven't called that all game," right? Like, it didn't feel like
what we said was, well, it looks like a. But we were both like,
it was like,
would you have called that? I don't know.
I mean, it was a foul.
See, I'm saying it wasn't technically the wrong call. That's why you kind of like, well, to the letter of the law, the guy made the right call. But the problem is, he didn't call it. I mean, but we didn't say that in the moment.
Right.
We were just looking if it was egregious. Like he just missed it. No, he technically didn't miss it. If the guy waved at him and didn't touch him, and the replay shows that and he blows it, that's bad. Yeah. You're like, you didn't fucking get a glove on. What the fuck you doing? But when you see the replay of it, because neither one of us were like, we weren't sure. Because it was like soft compared to the fouls we saw, where guys are flipping over each other and they're fucking, it looks like limbs are breaking.
I don't remember much of that.
No, but when they blew the whistle, it was a foul.
It was a
that. It was legit. It was like,
remember when the guy on the fast break?
Yes.
But they popped right back up.
I know, but because it was fucking athletes. They're fucking world class athletes.
Okay,
yeah.
but
anyway,
let me compare this to something.
Okay,
because I think there's a couple types of people. Pick up basketball.
What player?
It can show you so much about a person's character. It's not even funny.
Okay, sports in general.
Yes, but pick up basketball is different to me because you have to you're the keeper of the rules as a player.
There's no refs.
Right.
So you determine.
Right, exactly. You determine how the game goes.
For you.
When
you have the ball.
And you can decide, do I want to be a prick and call everything?
This kid breathes on me, I'm calling him.
Or you can.
And there are guys like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you know who they are, and you're like, I hate playing with your ass.
Yeah.
But
you're going to call every little ticky-tack.
But it's like, to me, and this is something, I didn't even realize this about myself, but in a game-ending moment, okay, if it's game point, I'm not calling a foul on you unless you smack me in the face.
No blood, no foul.
Exactly.
That's game point.
You
if he didn't draw blood,
you can give me all the body I can handle.
And that's like bro code. This is why I love bro code. Thank you for bringing this up. Because why bros are bros, and that's why bros are cool.
It's just real.
Every now and then you hear a thing in bro code, and you're like, that's why it's in the bro code.
Yeah, right.
It's like common fucking sense.
Exactly.
Like they should have a bro code manual and fucking hand all the idiots done. Read this fucking thing cover to cover and then talk to me. Because they have shit like that in there. It's bro code.
If I'm backing you in, okay, and I turn and you give me body and I miss it, no. Let's go back down the other way.
I once had a guy. I was in the air shooting a jump shot. So I was lighting this guy up. He was so fucking frustrated. While I was in the air, he fucking pushed me. And I still made the fucking shot.
Right, because you're anticipating.
But if you saw how far I moved from what Pete will tell you. Pete was in the back of the gym waiting. He's like, dude, you went like 6 feet that way and you fucking still made that shot. That was awesome. And I got up and I was like, well, I guess I can't call a foul. And I ran back. The guy was so fucking mad. You could have fried an egg on his head. He was so fucking mad. And the thing is, I guess one of his dudes, teammates, he plays on that regularly, and he knew me. And he goes, dude, you're not covering him. He's going to fucking kill you. He's like, oh, I'll D him up. He's like, no, you won't. He's fucking his friend's going, I'm still waiting for that. Now, I didn't figure this out during the game, but he was heckling his own team. He's like, when's that fucking all-world D going to kick? And he's got 8 points. He's fucking rubbing it in. Like,
his own teammate.
His own teammate. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he doing this to this guy? And then I found out afterwards in the locker room I asked, he told the guy before the game he couldn't guard you. And the guy goes, I'll fucking lock him. Oh, you're going to lock this dude up? Okay, have at it. And he fucking, every time I scored, he was fucking riding him. It's like, you want to go to zone yet? Have you had enough? Or he just heard this shit he was fucking saying to him. And the whole game, I'm like, why is he tackling his own fucking teammate? Like, I didn't even have to talk trash because this dude was doing it for me. It's like, I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. Because I'm thinking to myself, I've seen a lot of strange. You play enough pickup ball, you see a lot of strange shit. I have never seen this. where a guy was
You
heckling
see a
his.
lot of strange.
This was the strange. I've never seen a guy heckle his own teammate.
Well, they were probably
Like
friends.
Oh,
this guy was
dude.
acting like, I'm good enough to guard this guy, but you're not. So
Yeah.
he's like, sure.
Yeah,
Have at it.
And he fucking.
So, I mean, I could see that happening.
Like but they don't. Usually you hear about it. They don't do this
if
on
one
the
of my
court.
teammates acted like that, I'd be like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? You
Yeah,
gonna guard
like
his
you
ass?
want to go to a zone? Like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, should we
sure.
go to a zone yet? You had enough?
We're going to do a boxing one? What do you think?
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. And I didn't say it because I was in shock. Like, why is he heckling his own fucking team?
Okay.
It's like
we've gotten
anyway.
we've had tangential stories about RJ's glory days.
That was one
Okay.
story.
Okay, so let's get back on track.
That was one story.
What I was saying is,
One story a month.
when you think about your core values, okay, core values have been a big topic this week in our families.
Absolutely.
And when you think about core values, okay, if it's not egregious, just let the shit go.
Let the shit go.
Just let it go.
But that's playground. It's like playground rules. That's a rule on the playground. You don't call it on game point unless somebody draws blood.
okay,
And
now-
everybody knows that
Now
one.
let's say this: Bradbury in the Super Bowl, egregious or not, the holding call.
In the Super Bowl,
Yes.
the one on
On the Eagles, Bradbury. That ended the game. Do you remember it?
yeah, I do. To me, it was
He
one of
kind
those.
of grabbed him on the spin out.
But it wasn't. The ball was poorly thrown.
He
wasn't gonna.
overthrown.
He wasn't gonna catch it.
It was overthrown.
If he had a clean release, he wouldn't have caught that ball. That was the thing.
Yeah.
To me, it was like he couldn't have caught that ball if he
Well,
had
because he was doing a hook and then a spin back
yeah.
around.
But if he
wasn't
ran
it?
a straight, this guy overthrew him by 15 fucking yards.
Yeah.
It wasn't close. It was like if
It
he
wasn't
ran,
an egregious hold, even if the ball was
he didn't
catchable.
bring him to the ground. He didn't.
Well, of course.
he
Well, no,
didn't-
I mean,
he
that's more than egregious.
Well, that is egregious to me. That's if he gets one knee
So
on the
you're
ground or
saying
something.
you're saying final seconds of a football game, they
let
got to
him
bring you
decide.
down?
You let him. Well, if they bring you down, you call it.
That's it, though.
Yeah. If he brings you down, you call it.
Oh well, then if that's your standard, there's no way.
Because
you
it's
call
the Super
Bradbury.
Bowl. You don't listen. The last thing you want to be is the ref that freaking made the call that determined the fucking Super Bowl.
But see,
Because everybody remembers
But see
that
what-
asshole.
I don't remember the guy's name.
No, but all I have to do is go to the replay and I'll fucking see him.
No,
I can get his name like that if I
no,
want
but
to.
I won't. I'll just be like, oh, this is a terrible call. But but remember, do you remember the?
Yeah, but you remember the call.
Do you remember the ref's name of the who blew the Saints Vikings game? Remember that horrible pass
Oh
interference?
my god, I actually had his name. I don't remember it, but I had it on my Facebook
Like
page.
that was an
Because
absolute.
I put it on there and had his name right on it and said worst call in NFL history. And by the way, it was the worst call
I mean,
in
that
NFL
defender
history.
laid
He
the
laid him
receiver out.
He laid him out.
The ball was 5 feet away.
Yeah, well, yeah, the ball wasn't even near him. He laid him out.
5 feet away.
It
He
was
took the receiver
it
off
was-
his
If
feet.
you didn't know anything about football and you were reffing that game and you had the whistle, you'd have blown the whistle. If you knew nothing about football.
Here's how bad the hit
That's
was.
how bad it was.
Not only was it pass interference, it should have been called as defenseless receiver.
Defenseless receiver.
The guy got laid the fuck out.
He was looking at the ball. This
He was
guy
5 feet away.
blindsides
Oh my
him, like
God.
almost decapitates
Yeah.
the son of a bitch. And the ref, who's right fucking there, I mean, he's right there. What's he, 5 feet away? He's like right
Yeah, he was
behind
right
it.
on the
He's
sideline.
right there
Right on
behind
the
it. He can see the fucking hit. He can see the receivers looking back at the ball, so he can't see he saw all of it.
Yeah.
And he just sat there.
Awful call.
In a playoff game.
In the championship game.
Yeah, that non-call cost them the fucking game. And I'm like, how the fuck do you miss that?
Because they'd have a first and goal
It's
at
a,
the fucking.
but it's a fucking layup. It's the easiest call in the world to make.
I can see Creek.
Yeah. So I mean, anyway,
I see a silhouette.
looks like a Buckeye. In any
He
event,
did a little walk.
I'm sure he did. In any event, that was the mother of all layups,
Oh yeah.
and he missed
was-
that.
oof.
Like a blind man would have just heard it and blown the flag, thrown the flag, or blown the whistle.
Yeah.
Just like, what was that, beep? Like without even seeing
Pass
it.
interference. You don't call it when it's like
No.
a sec. Right before the.
Yeah,
catch.
it's like he didn't bump you, he rubbed you, and rub is racing. It was like that shit. That's all he did. He didn't impede, he didn't stop him from his route. He didn't put one knee on the ground or twist an ankle or anything like that. So you don't
it was
call
a
it.
little tug. It was a
But
little
the thing is,
tug.
when you look at where the ball landed, you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck you looking at?
Nah.
That thing, first of all, before you blow the whistle, you have to be able to see the ball. The ball has to be in the vicinity. If it's not in the vicinity, you got to look for it and find it before you look. Then you realize, was that even catchable? No. And good refs
'cause you
actually
don't
do
have to
that.
throw a flag
Good
immediately.
refs actually will say, and you've heard them say it, that ball was not catchable. Next play. They've actually made the announcement when they realized it.
Would
So
have
good
been
refs
interesting
know.
if Hurts had one more try at that.
Of course it would have been. Oh my God, that's what America
Not
wanted to
that
see.
No, I didn't. I wanted them to lose. But looking at it, objectively, it would have. The right thing was probably
to let it go.
that go.
Let it go.
They kick a field goal, and Philly has a chance.
Just like at the end, I'll tell you what. The way that game was played, those
changed my
teams.
opinion.
The way that game was played between San Diego State and Creighton yesterday, that deserved to go to overtime.
Yeah.
Those teams, it was an ugly game because both teams were fighting.
Yeah.
That was a classic rock fight. They were struggling. They were scrapping. That was a physical, tough. We're not giving an inch game. And you, when two teams play that hard, you're like, you know what? We're gonna go to the 5. You settle it. You don't fucking blow the whistle on a team again.
So
if he fucking threw him across and he hits, then you call it. But this, no.
Because, but the funny thing is, sometimes you see games where they do tackle a guy and they don't call it. In basketball, not just in football.
No,
but yeah, it was.
It sucked because you don't want to see a game like you're right, Tom. You don't want to see a game end like that when they're even and they're.
It would have been nice to see.
Yeah, let them settle it.
But what I will say is, now I'm not sure if this is because of just how even these teams were or not, but the way the game was played, and you can tell me your opinion on this. The way the game was played, it looks as though neither one of those teams is good enough to beat FAU. That's what it looks like to me. But I don't know if that's because of just the styles that made that into such like a, I don't know. Like you said, it was ugly. It didn't look great. I looked at San Diego State like, I don't know if they deserve to win this game. You remember that?
Creighton is a very good team.
You remember that? That's what I'm saying. Do you remember that pass over the top?
Yeah.
That to the other team.
Now that was the one. We have our boners.
They tried to give that game away.
Was the dumbest fucking thing I saw since Virginia.
Yeah.
Since the kid from Virginia made that stupid. This was the next dumbest thing I saw in this tournament.
Yeah.
Because the rule 1, you never throw back towards your basket.
Yeah.
And that's rule number 1. You throw it off the guy's leg. You throw it the other way. So at least if it's a turnover, it's on the other side of the floor, and they can't just get an easy one. You never throw it back to your basket.
Over the top.
Over the top, and the guy's not a 7-footer.
Set him up.
Fucking ridiculous. I'm like,
he was a guard.
He's a guard. Yeah. If it was Jabbar or something like that, okay, or Eddie, the kid from Purdue, that's the only fucking scenario you said.
Exactly.
If it ain't that dude, you ain't fucking throwing that pass.
You can't make that.
You can't make that pass.
That's literally an entry pass to a big man who's got somebody
sealed. Random sealed. Yeah, he sealed him.
Exactly.
And it was a perfect fucking pass. Turns out. He fucking hit him right in the fucking butt. I was like, oh, wow, that was like Bird to McHale. It was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing that game, I don't know. It didn't feel like either one of them was going to be able to beat FAU. I actually thought Creighton was better than San Diego State. But I don't know.
The thing about it is
maybe I'm full of shit.
You're not full of shit. Every one of these teams. Look, here's the thing we didn't count on. Because I think he came around before the tournament. He thought it was a really deep field. I don't know if he thought it was as deep as I did, but he thought it was deep. He did.
Who?
You. And
dude, I always believed you. I didn't.
No, but you thought it was deep too when you looked at it. Remember we watched Championship Week, and you were saying, you might be right. There's a lot of fucking teams that can do this. We talked about it during the week.
No, but I always believed you.
Yeah. So
you watch more of this shit than me.
The thing was, I didn't think a team like the one team. I never saw FAU play all year. They were never on TV. They were never on TV until they are. Like I saw their record, I'm like, all right, whatever. But they're 35-3. This is no fucking fluke. They're 35-3. So 35-3 is 35.
So what? They have 31 wins this year.
They had 30. They were 30-3 31-3 going into the tournament.
Damn, that's a good record.
They're 35-3.
You got to respect 31 wins.
You can't argue with 31-3. Okay, if you're 31-3 in Division I college basketball, you are legit. Okay, and again, they were a 9 seed.
Even if you're playing cupcakes all day long.
This wasn't a 16 seed. This was a 9 seed. The 8-9 game is a flip of the coin game anyway.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, they weren't low seeded. 9 is not low. It's just not. You've never seen this. Usually the top, if you're 8th, the lowest seeded team ever to win was Villanova in 1985. They were at 8 seed. 1985 is almost 40 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
That's the last time a team below a 5 ever won it. So almost 40 fucking years ago. So yeah, this is not normal. It's not normal. But in the one and done world, where you have teams that can have guys 2 and 3 years together, you can make a run like this now.
Yeah.
Because the best players don't stay 4 years. They're gone. First year, second year tops. They're at the fucking out of the league. So that's why a mid-major can now do something like this, because those kids have to stay.
Help me remember something.
Sure.
There was a game, and it's a game I cared about. I can't remember what friggin' game it was. But one team was fighting back. They came back and tied it. And then they let a team come back and hit a deep 3.
College game.
Yeah. It was one of these games. I can't
Last
remember.
week or during the
It was
tournament?
this weekend.
They came back and tied it. And then...
Then they let the other team come up and
Was
pop
it Thursday
a
or
3.
Friday night? Shit. It was one of those 2 nights, wasn't it? Because before the weekend.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So it was a Thursday.
It was one of the teams that I wanted.
Let me think. Thursday, Friday night. Who's playing those nights? Because that was the Sweet 16.
There was some really good games.
There was a lot of good games.
What team
Back,
was
we
it?
were. Was it UCLA and Gonzaga?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, UCLA came all the way
Oh,
fucking
man, they
back,
came all
and
the
then
way
that
back.
kid hit that fucking 3.
Okay, this is what I hated.
Yeah.
All right. And I think it might have been out of a timeout. I can't remember.
Okay.
But they tied it and pulled their and there was like, I think 3 and change left.
Okay.
They pulled their defense back.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 2.
Yes.
Okay. They were up 2. That's right.
I thought it was tied.
No. They went up 2.
This was
I
the
forgot. They came all the way back and went up 2.
Okay.
Okay? And pulled their defense all the way back behind the 3-point line. Let the guy run up. Now, he shot from the edge of the logo.
He was deep.
However,
Well-
why wouldn't you try to cut? If you
Actually-
give up a layup,
Actually,
it's a tie game.
What it was one pass, and the kid passed back to the guy running up because he screened for him. If it's the
No.
it was straight away.
No.
Straight away.
He
hitting the
walked
logo.
up and hit it, I think.
I think it was a pass back to him.
Okay, you might be right.
I
Let
think
me
it was,
look.
but he was deep. He was at the logo.
But why
they
did-
threw it up, and then they let the kid catch it. That was
No,
the first
he ran
problem.
it right down.
Pull it up. The highlight of it. I think it may have been a different game. This happened. I don't know if it was this game, but it happened.
Yes, it is. It's
So
Gonzaga,
yeah,
UCLA ending.
and this kid.
I'm
pulls
so
up.
old. I had to say what I was typing.
No, that's fine. I have to do that too. I'm not even 50.
That's a sign of being elderly.
You're in your early 40s. I'm in my late 40s.
No, you can't say 40 is early 40s. I'm 40.
That's early 40s. 40 to 43 is early 40s.
41 to 43, sorry.
So what's 40?
40 is 40. I'm not in my early 40s.
At 40,
I'm
you're,
40, no.
you're in your early
41,
40s.
I'm in my early 40s.
You tell me 40. These are the stupid arguments we have.
Well, 50 is in your late 40s.
No, 50 or 50.
Right.
But no, that's
So-
your early 50s though. So I'll be
No.
early 50s
no,
next year.
it's not.
I will be early 50s.
The edge is not early or late. The edge is the edge.
I don't know.
Come on, you got to agree with
I
that.
don't disagree.
You got to agree with that.
I'll think about it. I'll ponder it. I'll talk
think-
to
I
you.
think
I'm gonna consult Yoda on it. Anyway, so try and find that
All right,
play.
I got to find it.
Find this
because
play.
to me,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I thought it was a kickback, like one pass and a
I don't
kickback
even-
to
I
a
don't-
shooter
I don't
running
think it
into
was a kickback.
running into position.
you could be right, but
Is this it? Yeah, this I think is it. So they tie it, right? Oh, it's Raftery on the game too. Hold on, Raftery.
this isn't it.
Wait, let it go. See what happens.
This is
Wait.
This is an old game.
What is that? Are you sure that wasn't?
It was showing UCLA as an 11 seed.
All right, go.
That must have been an ancient.
All right, go back. Try. The highlight's got to be on the fucking. Wait a minute. It was the game-winning shot, wasn't it?
Yes, but it left like I'm gonna say 2023.
Hold on.
This is riveting TV.
It is.
Watch as
So
I
it was
listen.
UCLA.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so watch.
I'm wrong.
He goes in.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. Now watch. 12 seconds.
Okay. So they're up 1.
Yeah.
My apologies.
That's all right. They call timeout.
They call a timeout.
So-
they pull everybody back.
So here's question number 1 to Tom's point. What's UCLA doing in this huddle right now, defensively? Like, what is the plan? Are they still celebrating the shot and not thinking?
I didn't realize there was that much time.
Yeah, because they called the timeout.
So you might be right that there was a pick up top.
No, he caught it and made himself. He was a human pick. Like he picked it, he passed it back and stood in the way. Let it run.
Why is it stopping?
I don't know. You let it go. You're going 10 seconds ahead? Yeah.
This is so annoying.
He does this.
It's because I'm hooked to somebody's stupid ass Wi-Fi.
Here it is.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Here it is.
Let it go. See that.
Here's the pass back.
Right there. So he stepped into it. That's what I'm saying.
But why did they stay back?
I don't know. I agree with you on that. Watch what happens here. This kid picks off the first guy right there.
He didn't pick anybody off.
No, he went under the screen. See how he went around him, under him to get to him? That was
But he
watch it
wasn't.
again.
This guy wasn't guarding his man.
Nobody
Like,
wa-
why isn't he guarding him?
There's see.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he's kind of there when. Well, let it go. Watch. When he shoots this, where is he? Hold on. See, he's right there. He's got a hand up. He made it.
but why wasn't he guarding him?
If his hand is right in his face, he's technically guarding him. He's contesting the shot.
He's late. He's late.
His hand is right there when he shoots it.
I just
Kid makes a great shot.
I don't like how they pulled everybody back.
Well, you know what they're afraid of? Because they only needed 1 point.
Giving
They
up a layup to
Layup.
lose.
So, like, make them shoot it deep. If you're going to give up, remember, they only need one, but they're down 1. A layup wins it.
You're right.
So if you're the coach, you're like, no, you want them. If they're going to shoot this, they're going to be back fucking there. We're not giving up a layup.
Yeah, that's my mistake because
so,
I thought
I mean-
they were up 2.
No, well, when you originally said it,
And
I
that
thought
would
the
have
same
really
thing.
pissed me off. But I think, I don't know. I had them beating Gonzaga. So again, I was more biased and more pissed off that they lost.
Well, I mean, I think UCLA and UConn would have been a better game because it turned out. After what UConn did to Gonzaga. Talk about poop.
I don't know.
Poop.
UCLA might have been the same thing.
No, UCLA, I think would have they're first of all, that team, though, they match up better. Matchups, they have more talent to go toe-to-toe with them than Gonzaga does. More athletes, is what I'm saying. So UConn has athletes. On top of, they've got ringers.
Whoever wins the UConn-Miami game
is going to win the
championship.
Yeah,
and it's going to be UConn.
It's going to be UConn. And because, they are the deepest team in this tournament, and they've got everything.
Yeah.
They've got a guy that can guard 4 positions. No one even talks about him. They've got 2.
Who is that? Hawkins?
I forget his number.
Hawkins is a
30,
shooter.
34, whatever his number is. But this kid can like, and offensively, he's he's good. He's a good offensive player, but defensively, he literally can take a guy out of the game. And on top of that, then they got shot blockers behind them. Their guards can all penetrate. They're deep. They got a rotation of guards. I mean, they can come at you in waves.
Okay, but can I just say something?
Sure.
Danny Hurley, Coach of the Year.
Easily.
However,
He recruited all.
he's
those
also potentially the worst interview in sports.
people. All of sports.
Yes.
Worse than Belichick.
Yes. Belichick's hilarious.
No, he's not.
Belichick's hysterical. Hysterical.
You can't say
Okay.
put on
so,
about Belichick.
look, don't make this about Belichick.
Sorry, you brought it up.
Here's my issue with it is that I don't think that's really him in the interview. I wish he gave us more of him in the interview.
Like what? Like what did you want him to say?
Just have a personality, have a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see him on the sidelines, he looks like an absolute maniac, and I love it.
Let me tell you why.
Like I love that he is like that, and I wish he would share some of that emotion.
You can be
with the
a
country.
maniac during the game because it's the game and you have passion. But when the game is over, what he's trying to do is send a message to his players. When you looked at it to his point, by looking at him, you never know he won the fucking thing. He showed no emotion. He showed no anything. He's just like, well, we were fortunate. But it's like, do you realize you're in the Final Four? Like, you want to say that to him? But he's doing that for a reason, to your point. I'll tell you why he's doing this. Because he's telling his players...
I don't care why he's doing it.
Well, you don't have to like it, Tom, but there's a reason behind it.
Of course.
Okay? And actually,
But
it's a valid one.
I think
It's a valid
I think
one.
it's more of just like what
No.
he thinks he's supposed to be in interviews.
Yeah, his father is a Hall of Fame fucking coach, and he's the same thing.
Exactly.
Well,
But
by
he
the way,
doesn't have to be like that in interviews.
That's your opinion.
Exactly.
Well, that he, having got all the rings and the resume and his dad's in the Hall of Fame, probably knows a little bit more about this than you. Okay?
No, of course.
He's telling his team,
Of
our goal
course.
wasn't to get to the Final Four. Our goal is to fucking put a banner up that says national
I'm not
champion.
asking him to gloat in interviews.
Well, what are you
I'm
asking for?
him to have a fucking pulse.
No, he had a pulse. He would have
That's
died.
it.
Nope. He had a pulse.
I'm
He just
asking him
didn't
to
like
have
it.
a pulse.
He had a pulse, or he'd been dead. The bottom line is this. He's telling his team this ain't the end of
Dude,
this.
I'm just saying, I wish he would share some of that personality.
Because you know what ticks me off when the guy goes the other way and he's, oh my God, we're fucking in. I'm like, you understand you got 2 more games to go, right?
That's not what I'm asking.
Well, you're saying have a pulse. Tell me what's Tom's definition of a pulse in this situation.
Yeah, so I mean, I just figured that, you know, if we brought him in, we could recruit another big man. And after that big man, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. We keep our head down. We work hard. I'm just saying, when I watch that man on the sidelines, that's not his personality. And I'd love to just get some insight into that guy. That's more entertaining.
That guy? So you're telling me that the side you saw, that's not part of him too? Can he be both? Can't 2 things be true?
He could be.
Can't 2 things be true?
Sure, he could be. He could be. My thing is, I don't think he is. I think he is.
He's like that in every interview, by the way.
I know.
Every interview.
I think he's putting that on.
He's consistent, but he's consistent.
I know, it's boring.
It's not boring.
I'm not saying the guy's not a great coach, and this might be part of it. I'm just saying he's a boring interview. Why can't you say that?
He gives you the passion when it's time.
Look, I'm not saying Tom
Izzo pulls that shit, and you're like, Tom, shut the fuck up. Tom's like, Izzo is like that. The coach, he's always patting like, dude.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he gave you some insight. Well, they made a couple of bank shots, but they made a couple of lucky plays, and that's what he was thinking.
That's not what I'm asking.
Well, that's
what's his face?
That's not boring, is it?
No, it's
like, wow, he's really a dick. like show a little class. Like you know what the Creighton guy did? Did you hear the Creighton guy's interview?
No.
This dude, what was the one you said where the guy went into the locker room?
That was the Kansas State.
That was awesome. This was almost
like, yo, the toughest son of a gun.
That was awesome. Okay, that was class persona. This dude was damn close to that because his team is the one that got that ticky-tack call, and he's going to go, look, we're not going there at the end of the day. They made more plays than we did in that moment, and we're not going to take that moment from them. He didn't say at the end of the day it's not risky. He goes, officiating is part of the game. They adjusted better than we did. That's fucking boom. Like, no, you're not going to take this moment away from them, isn't it? No, because it was both ways.
Bad calls suck.
He's like, part of the game.
But as the loser, you can't blame it.
It's not the reason they lost.
Yeah.
He's like, I can go, well, how about the 10 free throws we missed? What if we made 5 of them? What if we had done that? That game was, listen, we put ourselves in that spot. So when you do that, a good team's going to beat you, and they're a good team. It's that simple. So he's giving them credit.
San Diego.
Yeah. A perennial power, according to
Perennial power. Dude, they were a power all game.
Perennial power.
And now they just became perennial with that Final Four.
I'm so glad they got to make at least one time. Wait a minute. Oh, this is their first regional final.
Hey, Joe Lenardi said it, not me.
Oh, Joe Lenardi. Well, this is their first.
But I was telling you they're there all the time. And you were like, who the fuck are they? And then Joe Lenardi's like, perennial power. And I was like, no, motherfucker.
they're not a perennial power because when I explained to you agreed with me.
Hey,
UConn's a perennial power. Kansas is a perennial power.
A perennial is a team that comes up every year. Hello, then they die. Hello, then they die. Hello, then they die.
Kansas doesn't normally die this early. Kansas is usually the fucking because they're a perennial power. Anyway,
we said we were going to pick the games next week, but we actually already picked them.
Not really.
Yeah,
we have to break them down. We'll do that later. Listen, we're gonna do is we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we're gonna take a break. I think that was a glorious night, though. We're gonna find Yoda real quick. We're gonna come back. Segment 2. We're gonna talk free agency, the Jets and the Packers, and Lamar. Who's gonna go after Lamar?
I'm done with this.
I'm
done with it. Everybody's acting like this is different.
Let's find out.
We've already known this.
We will discuss in segment 2. Man Up Monday. Marijuana Monday.
Manic Monday.
Be back Manic Monday. All right, Miss Bengals. Hold on.
Just another Manic Monday.
Susanna Hoff's all-time fave. Not going to lie.
I don't know who that is.
The lead singer who sings that song from the Bengals. Segment 2 coming up.